Isaac Newton, the man who discovered the invisible forces. In the quiet countryside of England, on a cold winter night in 1643, a baby named Isaac Newton was born. He was so small and weak that no one believed he would live. But the little boy survived, and one day he would change how humans understood the universe. As a child, Isaac was shy and quiet. He loved to build small machines, windmills, clocks, even a tiny water wheel. While other children ran and played, Isaac watched He asked questions that no one could answer. Why does the moon not fall to the ground? What makes the wind move? He was curious about everything. At school, he wasn't the strongest or the loudest. But when another boy hit him once, Isaac didn't fight back. Instead, he studied harder. Soon, he became the top student in the class. He wanted to prove that knowledge was stronger than fists. When Isaac was 18, he went to Cambridge University. There, he studied mathematics and philosophy. He spent hours and hours alone, reading, thinking, and writing ideas. He didn't care about parties or fame. He only wanted to understand how things worked. But then, something terrible happened. A deadly disease called the Great Plague spread through England. The university closed and everyone was sent home. Isaac returned to his family's small farm in the village of Woolsthorpe. For most people, this was a time of fear. But for Isaac, it became the most important time of his life. He spent his days in his garden, reading books and experimenting. One afternoon, while sitting under an apple tree, he saw an apple fall to the ground. Some say it hit his head, others say it just fell beside him. But what mattered was the thought that followed. He asked himself, why did the apple fall down instead of up or sideways? What pulls it toward the earth? That simple question changed everything. Isaac began to study the force of gravity, the invisible power that pulls all things together. He realized that the same force that made the apple fall also kept the moon moving around the earth, and the planets around the sun. The heavens and the earth followed the same laws. In his small room, with nothing but paper, a candle, and his thoughts, Isaac Newton discovered the law of gravity. He also created 3 laws of motion, explaining how everything moves, from a flying arrow to the turning of the planets. Years later, he became a professor at Cambridge. He didn't like speaking to big crowds, but his ideas were so powerful that people from across Europe came to learn from him. He also invented calculus, a new kind of mathematics that could describe movement and change. Without it, modern science and technology would not exist. But Newton wasn't only a scientist. He studied light and color, too. He built the first reflecting telescope, which made stars appear brighter and clearer than ever before. When he looked through it, he said softly, "I can see the secrets of heaven." However, not everyone believed him. Some scientists argued with his theories. They said his ideas were impossible, but Isaac didn't fight with anger. He just said, "I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore, finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, while the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me." He never stopped learning. Even when he became rich and famous, he stayed humble. Later in life, he worked at the Royal Mint, protecting England's money from thieves and counterfeiters. He was made Sir Isaac Newton, a Knight of the Crown, a great honor. But what he left behind was far more valuable than gold. He gave the world a new way to see everything, not with mystery but with reason and understanding. When he grew old, he often looked back at his life quietly. He once said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." He meant that every discovery comes from those before us, that science is a shared journey. On March 31st, 1727, Isaac Newton passed away peacefully in his sleep. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, beside kings and poets, the greatest minds of history. Today, his laws still shape the world around us. Every plane that flies, every satellite that moves through space, every falling apple, all follow Newton's rules. He was not just a scientist, He was a dreamer who looked at a falling apple and saw the universe. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear him whisper, "Ask questions. Seek truth." Because sometimes one small thought can move the stars.